We often hear that there are tremendous benefits in practicing meditation, but there's so many styles. People often get confused about how meditation really works or what are the benefits that they'll actually get from it. In addition to that, a lot of people find it hard to meditate, not because meditation is difficult, but because they've never taken the time to learn how to get started or what to expect as their bodies and minds actually adjust to the new experience. Well, in today's episode, we're going to cut through a lot of the fog. I'm going to help you understand many of the things that you thought you knew about meditation, as well as some of the things that you never knew you should know about it. So if you're ready to change your life through one of the simplest and one of the most universal ways known to mankind, join us today on the Life Design podcast for our Mastering Meditation episode. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe now so you can join us on every episode. We truly appreciate it. And be sure to engage in the comments section of your favorite platform for your chance to be invited as a guest on one of our episodes. Welcome back to the Life Design Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Borland, aka Coach Michael. Today, we're cutting through the misconceptions about meditation. We're going to create a clear understanding of what it is, of where it came from, and of what are considered to be the more common and the more beneficial styles, as well as what can meditation actually offer us in our chaotic lives in this day and age. So looking at what meditation actually is, if we think about that, in today's day and age, finding clarity is more important than ever. And this is where meditation comes in because it can literally offer us what I call a sanctuary for our mind, a place where calm and peace can be consistent for us. While meditation itself was popularized within the Western cultures back in the 20th century, it actually has very diverse roots that stretch back thousands of years. When we look at the research, we find that meditation as a practice has various forms. It crosses different cultures, different religions, and initially that was including Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, and within the Hindu religion, the Vedas. Forgive me if I pronounce that a little off, but um, it was written back in the 1500 BC era, okay? And it mentions meditation. And as far as research is concerned, that's likely the oldest or the earliest recording of meditation itself. Buddhism, which was founded in the 6th century BC, it also mentions meditation as or with a significant emphasis on using it for enlightenment. Now, these are ancient practices, but the meditation itself in them has evolved over time and it influences our more modern methods. So as we look at that, we want to consider a couple of the myths, a couple of the misconceptions about meditation. Two of those are, number one, that meditation is about stopping our thoughts. That's completely not accurate. Also, that it focuses on relieving stress immediately, which is also not generally accurate. Okay, in reality, meditation is about learning to observe our thoughts without judgment. If we look at it that way, that tells us that it's actually a skill that's developed over time. It's not necessarily an instant solution. Now, that doesn't mean meditation will not very quickly or even immediately reduce some stress. Yes, it can. But that is not the sole purpose of it. Another myth is that meditation requires a specific environment. And the truth is, you can meditate anywhere. It can be a quiet room. It can be at a park. It can be on a walk. It can be during your commute. It's more about the practice than it is the place. Another thing we want to pay attention to when we look at meditation are the diverse cultural perspectives that meditation has, right? It's not a one size fits all practice. It's very diverse. There's a lot of variety across different cultures, across different timelines, and quite frankly, just different, what jives with you in your life in today's crazy world. For instance, in Japan, Zen meditation, or what they call Zazen, it focuses on a seated meditation and on mindfulness. Other cultures, like the Islamic culture, has what's called, I believe it's pronounced Sufism, but it incorporates repeating the names or the attributes of God. Okay, in Christianity, we have what's called contemplative prayer, or this is actually a form of meditation that focuses on fostering a deeper relationship with God. Now, I know from the Christian perspective, there are still to this day, there's a lot of belief that meditation does not uh, does not mingle with the Christian religion or with a variety of religions, and and that's actually a misconception on what meditation is. Does that mean that there aren't certain types of meditation that focus on what we would call a specific Godhead or specific God in a certain religion? Which means in that case it wouldn't commingle. However, it's that again is a misconception. When we look at it, that meditation can be like a prayer where we are speaking to the God that we believe in and building a deeper relationship with what I would call Yahweh, God. So each of these practices, even though they're different in some ways, they have a different approach or they have a different religious background, they share a common goal of creating or fostering a deeper self-awareness and a deeper spiritual connection. So regardless of your religion, there is still a form of meditation that is used within prayer that works within that religious belief system. So, what are considered some of the most common and beneficial forms or styles of meditation in today's day and age, and particularly here in the US? Well, I want to share five of the most common styles, and I want to do this with a description that offers a clear understanding, a simple understanding of each of those styles. And hopefully, this helps you understand that there's a variety of meditative practices available. And my hope is also that it encourages you to explore the ones that actually resonate with you. So, arguably, as of today, 2023, the most common style is mindfulness meditation. Now, mindfulness meditation encourages us to observe our thoughts, okay, as they drift through our mind. Okay, so I refer to this as a calming of the mind. We pay attention to it, we recognize the thoughts, and the intention is not to get involved, or maybe I could say that more directly. It's the intention is to not get involved and to not judge the thought in any way, simply to be aware that it's there, that it's moving through our mind, kind of like the notes of a song. Okay, we recognize them as they arrive and we let them move on. Okay? And this practice, this way of meditating, it combines uh, a little bit of concentration with awareness. And you might actually find it helpful to focus on um, like a particular object in your environment or on your breath. And you focus on that while you observe the bodily sensations, the thoughts or the feelings that are expressing themselves at the moment, but without actually engaging them or judging them. So the second popular version, which was really popular back in the 60s and 70s, uh, probably before that, but you know, I wasn't even alive in the 60s. So, and this one is called Transcendental Meditation. And it's a simple and a natural method um, that really it involves silently repeating like words or a mantra, they'll call them, or sounds or phrases. And it's really common to do it for, say, 15, 20 minutes at a time. And the idea here is to quiet the mind, not to silence it, but to quiet it and allow it to get into a more of a state of what you could call like a profound rest or relaxation, some way of achieving like an inner peace, but without an effort of concentration. I've actually heard a number of people refer to Ho'oponopono, if you're familiar with that. I've heard them refer to that as a form of transcendental meditation, but in my training on both Ho'oponopono and meditation, I believe Ho'oponopono falls more in line with the next form of meditation that we're going to talk about, which happens to be called loving kindness meditation. It's also known as metta meditation, METTA. And the goal in loving kindness meditation is to cultivate an attitude of love and kindness, but towards everything, okay? Even towards our enemies or towards our sources of stress. So, as an example, while typically a lot of the time while breathing deeply, not necessarily focusing on the breathing, but just while breathing deeply, practitioner or the person involved will open their mind to receiving love, to receiving kindness. So what happens is they'll send out a message of love and kindness to the world or to a specific person or to their loved ones. Now, I can tell you within prayer, it's often referred to as a prayer of intercession, which is when we're praying for other people, or as a prayer of petition, where we're praying for ourselves, we're asking for something for ourselves. And the practice in that regard is meant to promote a feeling of compassion and love. So if you're praying for someone else, or if you're meditating and you're sending love and kindness to someone else, that generates those feelings. You can also uh, make those same requests for yourself, or in certain cases, you can recognize maybe when someone said something nice, when someone made you feel loved or special. So this is the type of process involved in loving kindness meditation. The fourth version that I wanted to bring up is called guided visualization. So guided visualization or guided imagery, of course, involves forming mental images. And it could be places, it could be situations that you find relaxing. And these could be memories or they could be something you make up. It's very popular to use audio versions for guided visualization. And when we do so, we want to try to use as many senses as possible. We want to imagine the smells, the sights, the sounds, even the textures. So in doing this, most often, there is a guide or a teacher that leads us through this type of meditation, and they encourage us to imagine a peaceful place or to imagine a peaceful scene somewhere that we would feel safe and relaxed and and just very content would be a good word. So as I said, it's common to use audio recordings for this, and there's a lot of them offered free, like on YouTube or on the various platforms. You can even buy apps for your phone that walk you through guided meditation, guided visualization. So the fifth version of meditation I wanted to talk about is a surprise to a lot of people, and it's called movement meditation. And I know many people think of, meditation as being somewhere you got to sit still and you got to sit quiet, but there are other forms. Again, movement meditation is one. And when people do hear about it, they think of things like yoga or qigong or tai chi. And though these can definitely be used as a form of movement meditation, it can also include much more common activities. Could be taking a walk, whether it be through the woods or down a path or even around your parking lot at work. Gardening is a really popular one. Any other form of gentle motion. Okay, it's an active form of meditation where the movement itself is what guides you, and you're focused on the gentle movement. So you're not going to be, running a marathon. That's not going to fall into this category. But just a gentle walk, calmly doing some gardening. That's very, very meditative, very peaceful for a lot of people. And that falls into this category. And it's a place where the movement itself offers a level of peace within our minds. And the gentle movement, the tasks that we're doing actually allow our minds to wander a little bit, because it's not an intensive movement or action. So there's one, what I guess I'll call a bonus option that I want to include, and that's breath work. And though meditation often includes breath work, it's generally considered a separate practice from meditation itself. However, as someone who's studied breath work and meditation in a variety of settings, my personal suggestion is to learn both, and to learn a form of breath work that works really well for you, that you can include or combine with whichever form of meditation works for you. Doing so is the equivalent of adding a supercharger to your meditation practice. Again, there are certain types of meditation that automatically or intrinsically include, a slow, deep breathing. But for the most part, what I've found, and I've heard many, many, many people that feel this way too, is by truly studying both and learning them, breath work and meditation, and I want to say, I guess, intentionally combining them, getting good enough at them that you don't really have to think about it, and then combining them is extremely powerful for many, many, many people. Again, there's many different styles, many different methods of meditation and breath work. And when you learn them and you combine them, it just adds an extra something else. That being said, perhaps I'll create a separate episode on breathwork itself with some information on that. But for now, let's explore, let's kind of look at how these, what we have to call ancient practices, how they can actually transform our lives today in our modern world. And I will really want to stick to a simple and clear explanations of them. So the number one benefit that's reported is stress reduction. We said earlier, it's not always immediate, but it can be. And there's numerous studies that have shown that meditation significantly reduces stress. We're actually going to look at two of them specifically here in a minute. But by focusing on the present, by quieting or calming our minds a little bit, meditation actually lowers cortisol levels, and cortisol is our body's stress hormone. So, based on that fact alone, it reduces stress. Another thing is it improves our focus and our concentration, right? Meditation isn't just about finding peace. There's an aspect of it that's also about sharpening our mind. And by regularly practicing meditation, it enhances our ability to concentrate. It makes us more productive within our daily tasks, makes us more efficient, more productive. A third area that we know it helps us in today's day and age is it increases our feelings of well-being, gives us a sense of calm. It fosters an overall sense that we're okay. It actually helps us cultivate a positive mindset. It helps us to appreciate our lives at a much higher level. And this, of course, leads to increases in happiness and contentment and our overall mental and emotional health. And if you're a person like I am that's always asking, well, how do I know for sure? What is the evidence that these things actually come from meditation? Well, again, we're going to cover two studies real quick. One of them was done at Harvard, and what they looked at was how does meditation actually reduce stress and improve our cognitive function. And so when they looked at the impact, they looked specifically at mindfulness meditation, again, on stress and cognitive function. And what the researchers were able to find was that those who participated and who engaged in regular mindfulness meditation, meaning consistently, they showed significant decreases in their stress levels. Beyond that, they demonstrated a much higher or a much more improved level of performance on tasks that required focus, required attention, or what we would call cognitive flexibility. And the results of the study actually concluded that when people practiced properly, when they properly practiced the mindfulness meditation, that it was a valuable tool in both managing their stress levels as well as enhancing the cognitive abilities that they have. The second study was done through Stanford University. So yes, we want to get some diversity in where these studies came from as well. And they focused on the effects of the loving kindness meditation and how it affects our emotional well-being. And what they observed was that the participants who practiced loving kindness meditation on a regular, consistent basis, that they reported increased feelings of social connectedness was the wording they used, and empathy as well. They also found that the individual showed a decreased symptoms from anxiety and depression. Okay. Which again, it highlights the potential of using love and kindness meditation to promote emotional and physical, but specifically emotional health, and in strengthening our interpersonal relationships. And I would venture to say, if they had looked at it from this perspective, not just our interpersonal relationships, but our intrapersonal relationship, right? The studies that they conducted, obviously, by most standards, these two studies specifically were done by reputable institutions, okay, both of which offered, I would say, beyond compelling evidence that the tangible benefits that we can get from meditation offer significant, they can be used, I should say, as a significant tools for enhancing both our mental and our emotional health, which, as we all know, leads to improvements in our physical health. So what might be some real life examples? I'll give you a couple from my coaching clients. So I worked with a guy, Jerry, just going to use his first name. He was a software developer, and he started using through our working together. He started using meditation as a way of helping him cope with the stresses of his job, which were extremely demanding, extremely stressful. And the interesting thing is, he said that it helped him uh, you know, at a level 10. He said it was, beyond anything he ever imagined. But the cool thing was that he said it drastically improved his mood and his level of energy, we'll say, when he was spending time with his family. So instead of, coming home from work and feeling exhausted and just, wanting to just sit down and do nothing, the more and more he practices meditation, he found that when he would come home, even if he needed 5 minutes just to go, meditate again a little bit at home when he first got home, that he had much more energy and much more interest in engaging with his family. And that was something that he was absolutely not expecting. There was a woman that I had worked with. She was, we'll say, a middle-aged professional, but she was also going back to college. And she started practicing a couple of different types of meditation, and used it to overcome her performance anxiety at the new job that she was at. But what she realized, she wanted to find some level of stress relief as well, and realized that not only did it help her stress for dealing with school, it helped her academic focus. Okay, it helped her stay focused on her schoolwork, and in her opinion, it was a key to her actually being able to finish school and get her master's degree. So I can tell you that I've personally experienced the benefits in almost every area of my life at one time or another. Okay. That said, consistency is a major, key to making it all work, to experiencing these ongoing benefits of practicing meditation. So my question for you is it time for you to start doing this? Is there something that you want to find a benefit from? Stress relief, increased focus, better relationships, whatever it may be for you. I would love to hear in the comments, or reach out to me on whatever platform you listen on, whatever platform you contact me on, and let me know, number one, do you practice meditation? And if not, what style sounds more interesting to you? Breath work. Maybe you practice breath work. Maybe you never have. I guess we'll have to say wait until another episode where I promote, or where I share some of the information on different types of breath work, because there are a lot of types there, and there's a lot of information out there on it as well. So, you don't have to just wait for me to put that episode out. Though I'll probably do that within the next couple of weeks, now that we're talking about it here. But what are the areas that you would love to gain some benefit from the use of meditation? If you reach out and you engage, I might be able to help give some level of input or guidance on different methods that may work better. If this is an area that you have a lot of experience, share that experience. As the audience grows, a lot of people can benefit from your comments, from you sharing. So please do so. I want to thank you for being with me today on the podcast. And I definitely want to thank you for any engagement that you offer. Please, please, please be willing to, to like, to share, to, what is the word I'm looking for? To follow, to subscribe, in whatever way you can on the platform you listen to. Of course, you all probably know we're on Spotify, we are on YouTube, on Apple, on iHeart. So please engage with us. Let us know what about this conversation resonates with you. Share any experiences you have. And if you'd like to actually share your experiences on an episode of the podcast, let me know. And we may be able to find a way to make that happen. So again, thank you for joining us. I look forward to sharing more with you soon. I look forward to meeting many of you soon. And until then, as always, live awesome and enjoy your journey.